What's up, friends? Welcome here to a new video of myself, Asrael, and today we want to take a look at Waloria. And no, I'm not talking about the
Hello everybody, Tommy Ruin here.
Waloria from back in the days. I'm talking about the new Waloria. It's still under the head of Fred, the former developer of Waloria classless, but it's a new concept. It's after all the years Fred decided to make a new server, and it's Waloria again, and it's a hard mode vanilla plus server. So we are playing vanilla content on the WattleK engine, but yeah, it's a hard mode server with all classes or races unlocked, with difficulties for dungeons, with solo, duo, trio, squad and 5-man dungeon options. So you can actually solo dungeons, and you can also set the dungeons on different difficulties from duo and upwards. So first, right off the bat, when you join in the game, you can choose your starting zone. So you can switch starting zones, and that's without a lock. So you can switch them as many times you want. You're not painfully locked to one starting zone. When you already chose the starting zone, you can always switch. I started my journey right in Northshire Valley because, let's be real here, it's the best starting zone for the Alliance faction. And started to kill some kobolds, started to kill some wolves and other things, and then some kobolds again, and then some bandits, and then collected some stuff for Millie Osworth, then killed Garrick Padfoot, and I was level 5. And the awesome thing about this is, always at all 5 levels and on level 2, you get to choose one gear piece randomly. So this system works like every 5 levels you have a guaranteed gear piece where you have a small % chance to also drop a blue item. And on every quest turn-in you have a 20% chance to also get a loot roll. You can stack these loot rolls, but be aware when you stack them and you, for example, choose to stack them until level 40, you still only got to choose the gear you got the roll on. So if you got a roll on level 2 or level 5 or 6 or whatever, and you choose to open it at level 40, you still get the level 6 item. Right after I finished my journey in Northshire, I went straight to Goldshire because we have a lot of new stuff here. First off, you have a lot of new houses with all the different profession trainers, which is very awesome. And you also get to pick 3 main professions and 2 secondary professions. All professions here in this game reward you with experience. It's not a lot of experience, but you still get experience for leveling up or for like doing your professions, for crafting professions, gathering professions, for every profession. So this is a really neat way to get some extra XP along your journey. So I of course picked the superior professions for my paladin. I picked mining, herbalism and blacksmithing. And not only that, there's another custom system which I got sponsored from one of the players on the server. I got to choose a mount at level 1, 2. You can choose the mount below the level of normally getting your first mount at one of these new stable masters, which give you mount rentals for 45 minutes. So you just go to these people and you can give them a little bit of silver. It's pretty cheap and you get a 40% mount. This system is very awesome, especially early on. So I'm not judging, I'm only getting 40%. It's still better than like running on your feet. Right after that, I found my first rare or elite creature. There are a ton of new elite creatures on this server, which drop some awesome loot. And I tell you, this guy was pretty fucking tough, so I had to kill him. And I got 2 recipes from him. These elite creatures are running all around the world in all different zones, and they reward you with some additional gear. Right after that, I just went into the Forgot Deep mine, got all my gold dust and my candles, and got clapped the first time and lost my chest. And oh boy, this felt so bad. I lost my chest, but luckily, we still get all these loot rolls. We get loot from mobs a little better. The experience is ×2, progressively getting up to ×3 as you level up. And you also get quite some cool stuff from mobs, because the rates for getting gear drops and common, uncommon gear drops are a little bit higher on Waloria. So it's pretty neat to get gear back. And also, professions have thousands of new items to craft, which you can instantly craft from the beginning, because I don't know why, but you start with a crafting skill of 30 for all professions. I'll take that. But still, you can still craft some green items when you lose items in fight, because yes, you can lose items. In the open world, you can lose items from level 1, and in dungeons, you can only lose items when you go in dungeons Duo Plus. So in solo dungeons, you don't lose any loot because they are reworked dungeons, and the solo queue is like for learning systems for these dungeons. Right after I finished all these quests, I went back to Goldshire, first bought the chest replacement because, oh no, I don't want to fight without a chest. And I found this boar in Goldshire, but it was getting killed by a guard, a Stormwind city guard, and I only did the only viable thing. Crying in front of the boar because I didn't got loot from him because the guard killed over 50% of its health and then spit the guard in the face. Right after my tragic loss of the elite boar, I went to guard Thomas and wanted to quest at the woodwork camp, but the problem was, holy damn, these mobs there hit hard. Also, I found a lot of copper ore but realized I don't have a pickaxe with me. Oh my god, and so I did the only logical thing. But right after that, I got back and thought to myself, I should try to at least do the wood quest and sneak around all the wolves and bears because they hit freaking hard. I tell you, they hit freaking hard. And I was pretty successful. Besides, on the last thing, I got aggroed by a boar, but I run, not by a boar, by a bear, and run far, far away because holy damn, these hit hard. And it came like it had to be. I died again. And cried again. But went back, turned in the quest. After I realized the woodwork camp was still a little bit too hard for me, I did the only logical thing and went back to Goldshire and did all the quests for Billy and the pie and the boar stuff. Hit some boars in the face and also hit some murlocs in the face, so I got some more XP and I was successful. It was a good choice to not get slaughtered up in the woodwork camp, but instead choose the little bit easier quests. And after I did all of that, I asked myself the only logical thing we all asked ourselves: can we get a level by fishing? Does fishing give XP? It's the only logical question every World of Warcraft player would point out at this point here on this server, so I tried it. I ran straight to the fishing trainer, which was located in Goldshire, but I quickly realized there was no one who was selling me a fishing pole. Not the fishing trainer, not the fishing mongola next to it, not the guy on the pier. No one wanted to sell me a fishing pole, so I head straight to Stormwind, set my Hearthstone there, and turned in the Stormwind delivery quests. Holy, the Stormwind delivery quest gives so much XP. You should always pick that up in Goldshire. It's such a bunch of experience. Plus you get the grenades, which are pretty cool when you're close to dying or you're like fighting a hard-hitting mob. These are very good. Always do the Stormwind delivery quest. I went back to the fishing trainer in Stormwind and purchased a rod. And did the only logical thing and checked if fishing gives experience. And yes, it did. So I set myself the goal, I want to hit level 10 with fishing. So I started to fish a couple of fishes and then quickly realized 31 experience, okay, nice, but holy damn, this would have taken a lot of time. So I wasted a lot of money on my fishing pole, on the shiny baubles, and did the only logical thing, did the only right thing in the mind, get back to grinding, and didn't bother fishing. Also, by the way, before I of course started fishing, I also checked what happens when the mount expires and you're still on the mount. And to my disbelief, we don't get dismounted when the mount expires. You still stay on the mount until you dismount, even though the mount expired. So that's a pretty huge plus here, because you can still run if it's like you're running to a different zone and the mount runs out, but you still can use the mount until you dismount, and then you can just like get a new one. It's pretty cheap. It's like a couple of silvers, and in the end you get a mount anyway, so it's pretty cool. The system is pretty neat. But yeah, after the fishing thing didn't went out that well, because as I said, it would have taken like years to complete the level 10 with just fishing, and I fucking hate fishing. I went back to the McLaren Vineyard and turned in 2 quests and 1 quest, which again gave me 1.6k XP. This feels so freaking good to turn in these quests, especially on X2. And I decided to grind boars up to level 10 because I needed to skill my one-handed sword I switched out from my two-handed mace. Anyways, so yeah, I grinded my way up to level 10 through boars. It was pretty quick. and I hit level 10. So these were my first 10 levels and roughly 2.5 to 3 hours on Waloria. And on my way back to Goldshire, where I planned to record my outro for this video, I encountered another Prowler and killed the Prowler and got pretty cool pants, for example for Rogue or some leather wearing class, and yeah, some gold and a new recipe for my blacksmithing. So here we are, my first 10 levels on Waloria. What would I say about this server after my first 10 levels? Should you play it? Should you try it out? It's currently an open alpha, so it's very early in development. And let me tell you, I was shocked by how good the custom systems already are. The gear system, with getting gear every 5 levels guaranteed from a random loot drop, and the 20% chance to get a gear roll on quest completion feels so damn rewarding. I was almost at full green equip when I hit level 10, and it feels just very rewarding. Of course, it's hard to lose gear, and especially if you got lucky with a blue roll on your gear rolls and you lose it because you die. Of course, that feels punishing, but it's not that bad. You get to craft a lot of new stuff within your professions. You have 3 professions you can choose from, or you can learn all through. You get XP from all professions. You can always craft new gear. You always get these loot rolls. You get loot roll chance of 20% from every quest. So heck yeah, I would recommend to try out Waloria. I know the team behind this server. I know the main developer, Fred. He does a very good job at what he is doing, and I would recommend to keep an eye on this server. Maybe try out the alpha. You don't have to try out the alpha, but I can say it's pretty polished already. They currently focus on the stuff from level 1 to 59 and not endgame so much currently, but as I said, they're pretty early into development, so that's just logical to do. So the leveling journey is perfectly rounded before we go into the endgame. Will I continue to play here? I will, even though the concept of the server, this hard mode, is not really mine, but since we got 2x experience, it's a totally nice concept to try out. I will continue to play it, I will continue to test it, but also because I know how goddamn well Fred is doing his stuff. Waloria back in times was the first classless server ever. It was revolutionary, and I'm quite sure Fred will do something like this here too. You got a lot of systems on this server here which you never saw before in any other server, especially not like this well done like it's done here. All the custom UIs look beautiful. These systems are well rounded. Everything is pretty early, so don't expect everything to work flawlessly, but the server is running on Azeroth core, the best core you can have for your WattleK server. Remember, we are just running on the WattleK core here. We are still just a vanilla plus server. We just have the talents of WattleK, but everything else kept 60. Everything is pure vanilla plus here. So you should try it out, especially if you're a vanilla plus fan. You will love it. Fred and his team put a lot of time into this project. Try it out, and if you do, tell the guys in the Discord you're coming from me. Have a lot of fun. See you next time. Goodbye.